everybody. Here we are again. Once again, it's the huge, gigantic Sunday show from this side of the Atlantic. Right? Pull up a chair. You're all welcome to Arsenal Fan Circle here, and we are celebrating 6 wins in a row. We need more. We want more, and we have to have more. Tony, how you doing?
I'm doing so. Still trying to get rid of the infection in my cheek.
Good.
Orbital bone. Yay.
You still have, as long as you're still waking up every morning, that's a good thing. That's the first thing we all check for, right, Tony?
Still upright.
Still upright, 6 feet above, right, rather than 6 feet below.
Yeah.
Lawrence, how have you been?
I'm all right. I just want to mention something before we start. I don't know if anyone else has heard, but yesterday, Stan Bowles, who was a midfielder who played for Queen's Park Rangers in the mid-70s, passed away yesterday. Anyone who remembers Stan Bowles, he was like George Best. He had a lot of flair, and he was a bit of a character. And whenever he played against us, he would always wind us up. He was that type of player. And unfortunately, he passed away yesterday. So rest in peace, Stan Bowles.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Stan Bowles. A bit before my time, I think, as Lawrence was saying before we went live here, but
yeah, he was. He always helped QPR win the league title in the mid-70s. So anyone who knows Queen's Park Rangers, they're a very, I wouldn't say unfashionable club, but they had one great season where they challenged Liverpool for the league title, and they almost won it.
Right. And of course, we did sign David Seaman from QPR as well.
Yeah, that's right.
£1 million. Not a bad thing there. But rest in peace, Stan Bowles. All right. Moss says, "What's up, Gooners? This fine Sunday." We're all doing well. I guess we got to jump into that Carabao Cup final first of all. Chelsea, Bullions lose to Liverpool Juniors. We smoke. Magpies, you falter. Liverpool, we taking over this Premiership. Yeah, if Liverpool do falter, and their injuries are piling up now, congratulations to Liverpool. They have won a cup, and you can only beat who's put in front of you. I often think of the Carabao Cup as they put together a squad cup. As you're not going to put this team out each and every day.
Yeah, but right, Chelsea had that game. They could have won that game today, and in the extra time they were shit, and it was just typical Pochettino. He played for penalties, and it backfired on him.
Yeah, I bet Spursy. Chelsea have turned a little bit Spursy. The last 6 cup finals, I think they've lost all 6 of them, and one of them was as well. One of them was in 2020. Tony, what did you think of Liverpool Chelsea Carabao Cup final?
It kind of care less to me. It's lost any pizzazz to it. That's why I said it should be like the NBA. They have the in-season tournament and just make your regular league games be part of the cup to eliminate down to enough to have a playoff out of it. But
right. All right, wheels are up on this podcast. We're up in the air now, Tony. Hello, Mr. Tom. Leeds, congratulations, Leeds. They're going well to beat Leicester City Friday night, I think it was. In a they turned it around in the last 15 minutes of the game. So Revenite, big up Ray and the lads. Good win for you guys. And just enjoying my celebration today. My youngsters are winners. All you have to say about Jurgen Klopp is he's trying to hand the reins off to the next person in a good, positive way for them. They're blooding some young players and some teenagers. Finished.
They've been doing that forever, Ray. It's nothing new.
I look forward to being entertained during my yearly bath. This is Mr. Tom. So, Tony, bring your best stuff for Mr. Tom there. Leeds, big win. AFC always says, "Do you remember when Tony Adams went to prison? He was asked if he had any requests, and he asked for the walls to be moved back 5 yards." Uh, 1 billion to lose to the kids. Chelsea, Chelsea, Chelsea. So Lawrence, I don't know. I went back and forth on this one, which would be best for Arsenal, because you always have to look at the Arsenal angle here. And being selfish, I think it's best that Liverpool won this cup and face City now in good heart in a couple of weeks for us. You know,
Yeah,
they've
I'd have to agree with that. Yeah,
they've got a league game coming up, each of them, and then they face off against each other at Anfield. And for me, Tony, the best result for Liverpool City would be a draw. We're fighting both of them. We need both of them to drop points.
Yep.
What say you?
That's 2 points gone from each team. Yeah, can't wish for better, I don't think.
Yeah, and it's a very likely result as well. But either way, someone's going to drop points, and Arsenal need to be there in a good position. We're in a great position, Tony. We're laying in third place. The media are talking about Liverpool and Klopp right now. The media are talking about Pep Guardiola possibly going on a run. City scoring 1 goal, 1-0 wins now, and we're laying there 2 points off of both of them, Tony.
Yep, still got to catch them.
We still have to catch them. That's true. Both of them can't keep winning. Somebody's got to drop points, like I said. Revenite, I think it's 7 now, Ray, with Chelsea losing cup finals. I like the EFL Cup, says Tom. It's a midweek cup, essentially. Yeah.
As long as we don't, like when a coyote finally caught Roadrunner, he had ran through all these tubes, so he's about this tall. He's just like right up on the ankle of the other Roadrunner. So he puts up a sign that says, "I got him now. What do I do?"
Right. Yeah. I know what you mean. We got to catch him, and then we got to stay ahead of him, Tony. Indeed. Revenite said we played 15 Academy kids this season, Tony. It's more than ever. Evening, everybody.
We haven't played 15 Academy kids. What the?
Revenite is a Liverpool fan. He's talking about Liverpool.
Sorry.
You don't know. Arteta didn't do that. Didn't bring 15 Academy kids through. We brought a few
Academy kid through.
We brought a few through. Imagine if the league title all came down to goal difference. That would be crazy. Yeah, definitely. I like how there's no more conversation of Arsenal overachieving. We're right where we need to be, says BX Gunner. Welcome, BX. We have got to win all of our games before we play Man City. This is for sure correct. And I've been saying we need to go 9 games. We need to win 9 games leading up to City, and then we need to put a side out there that we're fit enough, Lawrence, that we can go to the Etihad and put in a display that would not yield a 4-1 defeat, but go there and be competitive and actually give them a game at the Etihad.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. From what I saw yesterday, they were very fortunate to come away with a win at Bournemouth. I mean, if Bournemouth had been a
little bit better,
a top half team, they could have easily have dispatched City easily.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried as long as we keep the run going. I'm not worried.
Yeah. City squeaked by through a lot of games. They shouldn't have had a squeak by them.
Yeah, they squeaked by Brentford earlier this week, and this week squeaked by Bournemouth. 1-0 wins, and the hope is that kind of form is not sustainable. If Arsenal was doing this, and if Arsenal were giving up that amount of opportunities and possession, Arteta would be getting killed by the fan base right now.
I don't think so. What's it going to take for a fan base to actually criticize you more? Because no heat after going out of the cups for the fastest time 3 years running.
Okay, fair.
I mean they wanted. That's what was the whole point of getting rid of Wenger, was winning the league and being more competitive in the cups, and we're not competitive all in the cups.
And look, Tony, fair play to Liverpool. They've won a trophy. They got a trophy in the cabinet now, but they are dealing with an injury list that's longer than my arm right now.
They've dealt with it pretty good so far.
Yep. And they got to finish the season. They got to finish an FA Cup campaign. They got to finish a Europa League campaign, and they got to finish in the league as well. So these next 2 months,
FA Cup will probably be with 17-year-olds again, right?
you think? Okay. Michael said we're definitely missing a striker. Chelsea, Liverpool have about 5 each. Football brownies in the house. Evening, guys. Tony's looking like he's about to go out on the town. Tony. Question: who's the banter club at the moment? Man United, right? Who's the banter club, Lawrence, right now?
I don't. Are they the banter club with their manager, or with what change in ownership? At least on the football side of it.
What, Tony?
I
said with the change of adding the part owners that have control of the whole football side of it, they've been better. I know they lost.
You're still propping up Ten Hag, Tony. You're still propping Ten Hag up. You know, they say I have an affinity for Liverpool.
I like managers that play the academy kids, right? That develop young players. Emery was great at it. Arteta doesn't even try.
No, Arteta doesn't even try. But you know, we're competing for titles now this last 2 years.
But to me, isn't it? That should be damning that we sell a player for $40 million that never played one competitive match for us.
Balogun.
Yeah, we never seen what he would do in the first team.
He played a couple of Europa League games. He's played competitive games for us. Maybe in the league. He played one game in the league at Brentford when we were desperate. The league wouldn't call off the game. We couldn't play Aubameyang. We couldn't play Lacazette, and we had to play Balogun up front. He didn't look good. He didn't look good, Tony. You know, and I know you're throwing him in at the deep end, but it didn't look good.
Yeah, you had 7 players in there, Ray, that were not in there.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
And that's where you're fucking not having a rule of when the picks go in was shit, because Sam put his pick in 50 minutes to the game after he saw the lineup.
All right, we're not going to get bogged down. We're going to move forward.
First place, 20. He picked up 19 points because he had the news of what happened to the team within an hour.
You were asking me, Ray.
Yeah.
I would have said, if you had asked me that question yesterday, I would have said Man United. But after what I saw today in that League Cup final, I've got to say Chelsea. They're the biggest joke going right now. I mean, they've got a manager who doesn't know what he's doing. They've got overrated players. I mean, I'm just glad we didn't get Mudryk, because he's pants. He's about as much use. He's about as much use as a chocolate teapot. I mean, I don't like their fans. Their fans are too mouthy, and the guy who owns them, Bowley, he was writing checks left, right, and centre. You know, I don't know what his strategy is.
He's signed 32 or 33 players since he's became owners. Again, that goes on the British government, because they were the one that picked the ownership group. I guess the British government doesn't like Chelsea to pick that shitty of an owner.
All right, so that's Chelsea and that's Liverpool. Looking from an Arsenal perspective, we hope that Liverpool are buoyed for a few weeks here, and when City face them, they give City a really decent game, and both teams got points.
You seem to forget, Ray, that City play Man United next week. So we really got to hope United do us a favour as well.
Yeah, the reason why I'm fully aware of that, Lawrence, but the reason why I'm not mentioning it is because I don't have any confidence that that Man United team will be able to do anything to City at the Etihad. You know,
Hmm.
I hope that they can drop points. I hope the City can drop points, and maybe it's a draw there. But I find it hard to believe that if Fulham can beat Man United at Old Trafford, that Man United can then go next weekend to the Etihad,
Yeah,
across the city and get any results. So I'm basically, although I shouldn't be, I'm basically giving City 3 points next weekend.
yeah,
Liverpool play Nottingham Forest, and that could be a tricky one for them on the back of this win that they've had in the Carabao Cup. But
yeah.
they may take care of business. So, everybody's going to hold serve here, Lawrence, and it's going to be extremely tight in the last 20
And
minutes.
and what a pleasure it was to see Alex Iwobi getting the winner yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was very disappointed in some of his finishing earlier in the
Yeah,
game, but when he had that opportunity after Maguire Slabhead had equalized for them,
and that's his first goal for them as well.
it will be. Or
Yeah,
oh, okay.
it was.
Yeah. So look, let's see what happens. You can't take anything for granted in this league. And winning six in a row is not easy. It's not easy to win 6 games in the Premier League in a row. And Arsenal have done it now. We won 6 in a row. Last season we won 7 in a row. So next weekend, next Monday actually, we've got 8 days off now until we
But but
face
yeah,
Sheffield
you
United.
have you have to go on those long runs to win the title against Liverpool or City because
Absolutely. Yep.
they don't drop points too often.
No, and they're going to hold us to a high 80-point finish. I believe somewhere about 88, 89 points will be enough. I could be wrong, because Liverpool and City could just crank out win after win after win. So I think it's important that there's a draw when they
What did you
face
put
each
as
other at Anfield.
what did you put as our target, Ray? 90 points?
I put 90 as the target. Yeah, that's been the benchmark that Man City demands. Man City have demanded it, but Man City and Liverpool have had the lion's share of the points in the last 4, 5, 6 seasons, and having a third team right up there in Arsenal might mean that the points will come down slightly because of the three teams winning
But
um,
it's crazy
majority of
those
games.
teams are getting over 100 points.
Yeah, a few years ago. Yeah. Michael said, amazing set piece stats. We went from being a team lacking height to being the best set piece team in Europe, maybe. So, Tony, we've scored 19 goals now from set pieces.
Yeah, we looked very poor at them until about probably 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, even though we have been compiling, you know, these corners, we didn't get all 19 of them in the last 5 or 6 games.
Yeah,
But
but
we
that was my complaint like 5 or 6 weeks ago on Gary's show because it's like we are having 9, 10, 11 corners and not getting one goal from it.
mhm.
And now we're back to getting one a goal or at least a free kick or something in there.
It's starting to happen now, Lawrence. I mean, some of that part of it is you put Kivior in, another central defender. You got a little bit more height in there, and Kivior was able to get a goal. But you got Gabriel Magalhaes, you got Saliba. We got a lot of height in this game, in this team,
Did you
Lawrence.
did you ever do
Yeah,
your homework, Ray?
Did I ever do my homework?
Yep.
What was my homework?
Your homework was to watch the lead up to the free kick we had at the end of that game Tuesday.
No,
Not the end of it, but when
I
I mean he was he was Megalegs was screaming at him
I'd
to
have to
give the
rewind it
ball his
back
way.
another minute, right? Is that what you mean? My homework would
No, not a
mean
minute. It was like I don't know what was it, 15 minutes or so left.
yeah. Okay, 15 minutes, but we lost 15 seconds left. We
No,
lost it
15
in
minutes.
the light of death.
Yeah, but we said it's been a hit.
Oh, okay. I did not check
Ugh.
back on that. I'm sorry. I will have to do my homework between now and next time we talk again.
Because
Chelsea
he was
were,
just sitting there shouting for it. Then they were taking a long time, and he went back to the huddle because the three of them were huddled up.
yeah.
Then,
All right.
then the ball went his way and just a little bit over the bar.
I'll have to check it out, Tony, because there's not going to be a game between now and Thursday that we can go back over that hallowed ground. Chelsea were basically outbidding themselves with some of those buys, said Brownie. BX said the Chelsea and United downfalls have been magnificent to witness, but we need to win something to make it count. Yeah, BX, we're in our window now. We are in a window of opportunity for Arsenal that if we put a few more pieces together, we could do something that Liverpool did over the last 5 or 6 years. Always wish it will be well. Definitely, Michael. Rady's in the house. Dominant display last night, especially the first half. We schooled the Magpies. Jorginho coming in, freed up Erdegaard even further up the pitch. Even Rice was getting into the box. So, Lawrence, what did you think of last night's display against Newcastle?
Okay, well, it's completely the opposite from Wednesday. Real good performance. I'm not going to dispute that whatsoever. My only gripe is it should have been a cricket score. The chances we missed yesterday were unbelievable.
Yep.
And as I keep saying this league title race could come down to goal difference. We need to get as many goals as we can. I mean, I don't know what it is with Odegaard, where he decides he's going to pass the ball instead of shooting when he gets the opportunity. But it's happening a lot. Havertz should have buried that chance early in the second half when he was put clean through. The goal that we conceded right at the end, what I was really upset with, because I was hoping we were going to keep another clean sheet.
Yeah.
Because then the goal difference would have been up to 40. But as I said, like we cannot be profligate. We cannot be what profligate. Sorry, I can never say that word. We can never be that profligate in front of goal.
Yeah.
When the opportunity arises, we've got to take it. Because I said goal difference could come into it.
100%. You and Tony speak the same language. Tony.
What? Prolific?
Goal difference.
Yeah. Points and goal difference. I finally got you to take in the points.
You know, it was a good performance. I'm not going to deny it. It was fantastic to see us play like that.
Yeah.
Why we couldn't have played like that on Wednesday, I've got no idea.
Yep.
You know, it's obviously a mindset issue. But like I said, we've got to keep on. You know, we've got Sheffield United on Monday, where hopefully we can perform in the same manner again, like we did at West Ham and Burnley.
Yeah.
But as I said, like it's looking good right now.
Yeah, as Tom says, just say wasteful. Profligate
I will.
is a much better word. Profligate is a much better word.
You know, whenever I say that word profligate, people think I've swallowed the dictionary.
Michael said we have players coming back, which is great. Exciting weeks to come if we can beat Porto, and surely we can beat Porto. My thoughts about the midweek game is that,
what players?
Hold on, it was always going to be a tough test. It was a tough environment to come into, and we have to adapt to knockout football, playoff football, whatever you want to call it, knockout football when it comes to the Champions League.
I want to know what players Michael wants to come back.
Well, he's just saying we have players coming back, which means Gabriel Jesus, Tomiyasu, Timber, Thomas Partey. Yeah, I said Thomas Partey, and maybe a couple of others. You know what I mean?
You forgot Zinchenko.
Yeah, but Thomas Partey has been told Thomas Partey has been on the way back for the last 4 weeks.
That's
and yet
why
we haven't seen him.
Yeah.
You know,
I doubt it when I say it myself, Lawrence, anymore. You know what I mean?
But
I mean, it was good to see. It was good to see Jesus back on the bench, but you know,
not really, because he'll be starting and these goal totals will go back down. It's not a
yeah. Yeah.
coincidence that
We
he
have
goes
to.
up and the goals start coming in, because
Yeah.
it happened
So
last year.
we'll have to talk about Jesus and Zinchenko because there could be an argument, Tony, that we play better if we don't have those options on the bench or in the squad to pick them. We actually have better options in those positions, Tony.
Well, Arteta has the answer. You put Zinchenko at the eighth, then you gain a lot. And now Kivior can stand up to it in
Yeah.
the league,
Yep.
which we should have found out last year. But I mean, you sign the player, why don't you play him?
Mm-hmm.
I,
Yeah.
then you
And we've just seen a big difference between two managers. If you're going to stack Arteta alongside Klopp, Arteta needs to trust and believe, and maybe give the belief of those players that are sitting on bench that can come on and they can come on and do a job for you, whether they're
and when
taking minutes or not. It's helpful, even if Cedric is taking minutes from White at the end of games. It's a little bit helpful, you know.
and he's good in that role because he's good at crossing. I mean, when he first came, Arteta said he was the best crosser of the ball.
Yeah. So listen, Michael said Partey will be the main one, but if he gets injured again, he's probably finished. We'd like him to
What
come
what
back
why
and
do we need
be
him with Jorginho? What's he gonna do better than Jorginho does?
true. That's a fair point, Tony. Um, just if games come quick and fast, maybe Jorginho. We need to be careful about Jorginho. Having Lawrence, isn't it amazing we can have 8 days now to prepare for Sheffield United?
yeah,
You know,
yeah, we can.
get a few legs
But
rested, get back focused again. You know.
yeah, yeah, that is a good point. Yeah, but I really don't like these Monday games. You know, I prefer if we play on a Saturday or a Sunday.
Yep.
I,
Yep.
I wish they
You
would
know, but
ban
I agree.
Monday and Friday games. I hate them,
Right.
yeah,
especially starting off the league on a Friday. I don't like it.
I
Yeah.
mean, my only criticism is like the way the league is structured. You know, Liverpool didn't have a game; they had to play their game on
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yep.
And then Man City played before us, and then we played. You
Mhm.
know, and I think it's better if you have all the front runners playing at the same time because
Yeah.
it heaps extra pressure on the team that's waiting to play next.
Yeah. Yeah. Or at least that it can be balanced. That Arsenal have a certain amount of times that they're playing last. Then City need to have that a few times that they're playing. The similar amount of times that they're going to play last, and Liverpool's also as well. You know.
I
Um,
mean, the game yesterday was an 8 o'clock kickoff on a
mhm.
Saturday evening.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine the problems people had in getting home last night? You know, I mean,
Newcastle.
talk about the Newcastle fans themselves. But Arsenal fans that live outside the capital, the problems they had to encounter getting home after the game last night. I mean, why do the TV companies do this? I mean, it's just a joke.
Yeah, they don't have the fans in mind when they do that, Lawrence, at all.
Yeah,
Sheffield United don't stand a chance against this Arsenal squad. Let's build up that goal difference. So it's an opportunity to get another 5 or 6 without being complacent or cocky. We are a team at the top, and they are a team at the bottom of the league. And these are the type of situations where you need to pile up the goal difference. Porto was always going to be a tough test. So many arrogant predictions from our fans pre-game. Also, they're one of the better teams in Portugal. But let's have a right. We need to come back to the Emirates in 2 or 3 weeks
But
for that
but
return game and be very concentrated, Tony. Don't let them have anything for the first 60 minutes of the game and get a lead on them, Tony.
I was gonna go with something Lawrence went with early. He mentioned Kai missed some chance yesterday.
Second half, yeah.
Tuesday he
Yeah, I mean,
missed one that should have been easy. Another one he was getting in a position and just lost the ball.
Yeah.
I mean,
he didn't have any chances on Wednesday. He produced absolutely nothing on Wednesday.
Yeah, we didn't have a shot on target on Wednesday.
It wasn't
Yeah,
on
I
target.
mean,
He shot it and went way over. But
Okay, it wasn't on
you know,
target.
but
Yeah.
it's
one of those in real or
it's
dead goat.
When Havertz did score after 20 minutes, right? I remembered Lawrence saying, "If Havertz gets a hat trick, you know, I don't know."
exactly. I was getting the razor out, but you know,
That's right. You're going to shave the beard off.
yeah, yeah. I was all set.
I actually, if you, are you going to stick to that, Lawrence? I can let you.
Yeah.
Okay.
The day, yeah. If when he scores a hat trick for us,
That'll be
this
mad.
is coming off.
That'll be mad when that
You
happens.
know,
If
yeah.
that happens, you know what I mean?
You know, we all know what's going to happen with that, don't we?
Yeah.
I mean,
Beard is pretty safe.
people keep going on about Eddie Nketiah being an option for us, and I did some research yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in the 7 years he's been in the Arsenal first team, he's made 112 appearances and scored 19. I'll repeat that: 19 goals in those 112 appearances. Those are numbers you expect from a central defender.
Yeah.
Eddie Bukayo Saka, who's been part of the first team for 6 years, he's made 234 appearances and he's scored 55 goals for us. And Eddie Nketiah is supposed to be a striker, and people go on about him being an option for us. Do me a favour.
Yep. That's why this summer we have to buy 2 strikers because we do not have a striker.
Yeah.
Brady said Newcastle fans didn't have trains back to the northeast on last night. This should not be happening in this day and age. TV companies are greedy, so-and-sos. Same thing with our game up in Sheffield. Yeah, next on Monday night. Why wouldn't that game be played on Saturday? Neither team has midweek games. Yeah, you got to have Arsenal fans that will have to stay there, you know, and take a paid day the next day for the Tuesday. You know what I mean?
It's a fourth. Eddie has had. I can't read that. Eddie has had
since 2019 to make an impression, and similar to you, Lawrence. I mean, I'm doing some stats for today's podcast, and I'm going to talk about the numbers we had last year versus the numbers we had this year. Eddie Nketiah is tracking about the same as he did last season, which is not a great amount. You know what I mean? Eddie Nketiah last season in 30 games, he scored 4 goals and 1 assist in 30 games. And right now he's on 5 goals and 2 assists. So he hasn't really improved the whole lot.
And the thing is, Ray, it's Gareth Southgate's picking him for England.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
You couldn't dream this shit.
I don't know if he is.
I'm telling you, I could take you to Hackney Marshes, right?
Yeah.
Where they play football on a Sunday morning, and I could show you a bunch of players with beer guts who play in the same position as Eddie Nketiah, and they're 10 times better than him.
Yeah.
Could we understand them if they were talking to us?
Could you understand them?
What?
Yeah.
Hackney.
Yeah, it'd be a London accent.
Hackney Marshes, Tony, is a part of London that has a load of soccer pitches.
Yep.
And on Sunday mornings, you can see amateur teams like pub teams playing. There's like 200 pitches there, back to back. It's just covered with soccer pitches where pub teams and amateur teams play every Sunday morning there. I don't know what the American equivalent would be, Ray, but that's where I mean, if you went to watch amateur basketball team play it's the same thing. Every Sunday morning, you would see amateur teams and pub teams playing football there on Sunday mornings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. Okay. So Tony, 6 wins have come. We're putting pressure on Liverpool and City at the top, and we've had 18 different goal scorers. I know Gary was talking about this yesterday on his podcast on the road trip. But we are not reliant. We're not reliant on any one player to get us all of the goals. We're spreading it around the team.
Yeah, but you still need that guy you can count on because we've been there. We've needed it. We needed that clinical finish, and we've also needed that big, tall figure. Kai's a big good figure, but he's not that good at striking, or heading. So I think he hasn't scored one off a header yet, has he?
Kai, I think Kai got a header, against Brentford.
Yeah, one.
Yeah, at least one that I can remember. He might have had another one. I'm not sure about. Okay, so look here, Lawrence. Look at the season in its entirety, and then we'll get into this game in a little bit. But look at the season, and let's try to go through the season with some context here. And are we improving? Did it take a while for us to get to this point? Are we starting to hit the right? Are we starting to, build? Are we timing this thing right or toward the end of the season? It's a difficult question, I know.
Yeah, definitely. It's like running a marathon. You start off gently, and as you progress and get near the finishing line, you break into a sprint. And when you're winning 6 games in a row, that's positive.
Yeah.
You just got to keep it going.
While we were talking here, I would just put these stats up, and of course, it's not 9 losses. The first 10 games of the season, we started pretty well with 7 wins and 3 draws. Even the draws that we had against Fulham and Tottenham in the London Derby, we felt that we dropped points in those games. The one draw, possibly against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, was one that we salvaged a point in my opinion. But the first 10
we should have won that game.
Well, we were 2-0 down. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you remember when we pulled it back to 2-2,
we had
Eddie Nketiah had a chance to win it as well. I mean, he messed up his lines yet again.
Right. So 24 points out of 30, not bad, and no losses at that point in the first 10 games. And then the middle 10 games, Tony. Anything to say about the first 10 games, Tony?
Not really.
We were going along. We were trying to make do without Gabriel Magalhaes because of Saudi Arabia.
I still don't think I had anything to do with it. But
well, that's the club he's admitted that. The club has admitted it as well. So, that's what it is. It is what it is. So then the middle 10 games were a situation where we struggled a little bit. We lost to Newcastle up at St. James's Park, and we lost to Aston Villa, and then we capped that toward the New Year's with the loss against West Ham and the loss against Fulham. So the first part of the season, after 10 games, we got 24 points out of 30. This middle 10, we got 16 points out of 30 points with just the 5 wins, 1 draw, and 4 losses. So this is the part of the season where we're really struggling. at the end of December. Right.
Yep.
So we have 40 points from a possible 60, Lawrence, going into this new calendar year, and we've started off the calendar year of 2024 with 6 games, 6 wins, 100%, 18 points out of 18. So we're on a roll. What I'm trying to say, Lawrence, is that first 10 games we played quite well, and then we hit a bad part of the season. Maybe it was a consequence of topping our our Champions League group. Who knows? Maybe we got a little
Who
bit
knows? Yeah.
But still, you could have put
If Smuts,
it out weaker squad players to play those games.
Ifs, buts, and maybes, right?
Yeah, if buts and maybes, yeah.
Right.
I wish you did
Christmas
a
period.
stat, Ray. I wish you did the stat during these 3 different periods, because these last 6 games would be way up there after Jesus and Zinchenko went away.
Yeah. Well, I have that here. Last 6 games, 6 wins, 18 out of 18 points so far.
But I'm saying goals scored, Ray.
Okay, so I can give you goals scored in the first. So let me just highlight this. We'll talk about it, okay? Because I have it here as well, Tony. 1 second. All right. During the first 10 games, Tony, we scored 23 goals and we conceded 8, which is not bad, right?
Mm.
The middle part here, the 10 games where we struggled. We had a goal difference similar to Manchester United. We scored 14 and conceded 12 in that period. 3 of them to Luton Town, 2 to West Ham, 2 to Fulham, and a few other goals against. We were leaking goals. I think this is probably a period where David Raya was trying to get himself established in the team, and that communication with the central defenders might have been an issue.
I think that's when Zinchenko came back again.
Yeah, Zinchenko is definitely a part of this as well. Well, part of this middle 10 games is the draw up at Anfield, which I maintain that could be a critical result. If we're victorious at the end of the season and we beat Liverpool by a point or 2, that swing in points, Lawrence, is going to be huge. And if you could all remember, a line of 5 Liverpool players up at Anfield with just Declan Rice back when Trent hit the crossbar, that could be a seminal moment in this season. But we have to be foot perfect, obviously. And then Tony, these last 6 games we scored 25 goals and just 3 goals against. So that's huge, right?
Yeah.
BX Gunner said we have to maintain our form. So Michael's down for that trip to Dubai. Sign us all
shit
up here.
show.
Everybody at Arsenal fan circle is going to Dubai as well. So there you go. You believe that? I'll tell you something else, Lawrence.
Yeah, I just saw a pig fly overhead.
But on those games, Ray, you have to sit there and look.
Can you imagine Tony on a camel in the garb that they wear?
I actually can see. I can actually see that. Brownie's not wanting to go that way though. He's not going anywhere near Dubai, Tony.
I wonder why.
I wonder why. All right, so let's get into the game. Lawrence.
I was asked my question, Ray, or my point I was making.
Zinchenko.
No, in those 6 games are without Jesus and Zinchenko. So
yeah.
I don't want to see him until after Easter. I really don't want to see him the rest of the season. Be my pick.
Jesus popped up with a goal against Nottingham Forest. He laid on the assist for Trossard against Crystal Palace, which started this thing off. But yeah, he was out against Liverpool and has been out since. But yeah, Tony, we look better with Kivior at left back and Trossard or Havertz in that number 9 position.
Yeah, it's kind of mixed because if Trossard's not playing the striker role, that you have Kai up there, which is actually better because you get Jorginho, you get Smith Rowe. You've seen how better we've looked those 3 games that they have started.
Yeah, definitely. So, Lawrence, after 17 minutes, Gabriel Magalhaes forces Newcastle into the first goal. The mistake turned out to be on goal.
Yeah, own goal, yeah.
His header from Karius saves it. It's kind of like, we get some fortune, right? Karius saves it, and Livramento doesn't clear it, doesn't whack it out there. He just touches it onto the knee of Botman, and Botman, juggles the ball back to Karius when it crosses the line.
Yeah. I mean, Newcastle didn't lay a finger on us. They couldn't get the ball out of their own half.
Yeah.
And Bruno Grimares, I hope I pronounced the name correctly.
Tony, one of Tony's favorite players.
He
was anonymous. I mean, he tried to wind us up again, like in the first game.
Yeah.
At St James's, but you hardly ever saw him. I didn't even realise he was on the pitch. That we shut them down.
Me watching it, that's only one of the commentators were mentioning him because he's like all over the pitch. I thought he was active in the game. How many times did you hear Bruno's name mentioned, Ray? It was a lot.
No, he did nothing. I mean, the only thing I remember is he clattered into Jorginho after about 5 minutes, and then you never saw him again. His name wasn't mentioned, and we stifled him.
That's one of the players that Tony wishes Arsenal had signed. Is Bruno. Right, Tony?
If you look at the league stats, he's good, right? Was there one good Newcastle player yesterday, Ray?
No, there wasn't very many good Newcastle players yesterday.
Well, Joe Willock when he came on.
Klopp celebrated far too much earlier. Listen, here's the thing that every rival that we face at the Emirates, we faced Liverpool, we faced Newcastle, and we played somebody recently as well at the Emirates.
Man City.
Man City, yeah. But all of those fans leave the stadium saying, our team didn't turn up. West Ham fans are saying, our team didn't turn up. They're neglecting to see that Arsenal dominated the games because Arsenal have been better. Right. In every aspect of the game, Tony.
This was the same thing as 2 years ago when Arsenal failed to show up. They could have, with the win there, they could have sailed up 4th place. And instead, that's the worst Arsenal performance I've seen in the entire time I've been watching Arsenal since 1997.
Yeah. I've been watching them since 1987.
Well, I've been watching them since 1968. Well,
you could have said 77 for the symmetry.
No.
77.
Yeah.
I wish I could, but yeah. I remember the bad old days.
Yeah.
I remember when we almost got relegated.
Are you turning 53 this year, Ray?
What's that, Tony?
So you're turning 53 this year?
Probably did already.
My birthday.
My birthday was last month. Brownie said, Ray, West Ham are a shambles at the moment. That's not down to Arsenal in all fairness. But look at the XG of these teams, Brownie. Look at the XG. You can only beat who's put in front of you. And when you have expected goals of 0.18 against you, We're dominating teams right now, Brownie, and
That's such a useless fucking stat. Fucking sabermetrics from baseball. Something.
Michael said Klopp
Football.
celebrated far too much earlier. He did indeed. Let's call the celebration police out. I get that, but West Ham haven't won the game in 2024.
Why wouldn't he celebrate when this is his last hurrah?
I know. But you have pundits giving Arsenal crap for for beating Liverpool with a goal in the last seconds to seal the game. You know what I mean? And to climb back into the title race that we were 5 points behind Liverpool.
Doesn't every team celebrate that way when they
Tell Jamie Carragher, Tony. Tell Jamie Carragher.
Yeah, right. Are you really going to take the words of a pundit who's spat in a young girl's face?
No.
You really going to take exactly?
No.
I take all this criticism with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
You know, him and who's the other person? Richard Keys. When he used to say, I don't take. They can cry and whinge as much as they like. They're no angels themselves. So
doesn't every team that scores within the last minute and a half of extra time celebrate the same way?
Yep. It's the problem is the media pundits do not treat the situation.
It's because they know how toxic our fans are, and they'll get a bunch of people going there commenting, and it gets them more ad revenue.
Right, definitely. Moyes back to Man United. Let's see what happens. I think Ten Hag is going to stay there for a little bit. So, Tony, the second goal is Kai Havertz, right? And Jorginho. Tell us about it.
I didn't see it until I didn't start watching until about the 25th minute.
Yeah.
So
it was a good pullback from Martinelli.
Yep.
From the byline. I think Jorginho played it into him.
Yep.
And he did great putting it back to Havertz, who banged it in from 5 yards.
Yep. The movement is great there, Lawrence, Tony. Jorginho comes in inside right position, the Erdegaard position, chips the ball over the center back's head. Martinelli does great coming across from that left wing and making a diagonal run, chests the ball down towards the byline, and Havertz has seen the opportunity to move into that space in the center of the goal, and Martinelli's quick pass finds Havertz on the run. Just perfectly timed, Lawrence. And I like the way Trippier is completely irritated about the Newcastle defense not picking anyone up.
Uh-huh.
They
were all at seeing that first half.
Eddie Howe was enjoyable seeing Eddie Howe look perplexed, and he couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Probably he's going to get sacked at some point this season, maybe at the end of the season.
Newcastle was voyeuristic in this game and just enjoyed watching Arsenal. They had no plans of playing football. They just
they didn't see. People say they didn't come with a plan, but maybe Arsenal took the plan away from them as well.
No, I think that you're at the point where the players are probably that do what they do now. And they get managers sacked because what do they do, Ray?
They don't perform very well. Any thoughts on who will get the sack next, Tony?
I think you just mentioned it.
Eddie Howe. But will he get the sack next? That's the thing. You probably have to look at a team that's close to the relegation zone. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe Vincent Kompany. Are they dedicated?
No, they won't get rid of him. They won't get rid of him.
They won't? Okay.
No.
And Palace has a new one, so I don't know who else just sticks out there. I mean, to me, it's shocking. Are they in 8th or did they drop to 9th, Ray? So are they still in 8th or did they drop to 9th?
Who, Newcastle?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. But Lawrence, I agree with you. 2-0, and we missed a lot of chances to score more goals.
Yeah, I mean, Martinelli missed with a header that should have been buried in the net. And as I said, like, we're too complacent when we get to the edge of the box. We don't have anyone who's willing to take a shot at goal when it arises. I mean, that's the name of the game. You're supposed to stick the ball in the thing at the end of the pitch that's got the net over it. The problem with Arsenal is we're set in our ways where we've got to play this ticky-tacky football where we've got to string 3 or 4 passes to each other on the edge of the box before the ball comes in. As I said, excuse me, as I said, Havertz should have buried the Havertz should have buried the chance
Did
half.
Havertz
that he had in the
I'm starting to
that
think
he had in the
Havertz
start.
poisoned him.
Yeah, Havertz should have buried that chance he had at the start of the second half
Oh yeah, clean through.
easily. He was clean through, right, and only he could put it past the post.
That was on
Well,
46 minutes. Saka cuts inside to Martinelli. Martinelli's through ball to Havertz, and he misses just wide when it's perhaps easier Tony to get it on target.
Yeah. Again, you had 18
I mean,
shots.
Stevie Wonder could have put that chance away.
18 shots, 8 goals, and 9 corners. I think corners have to be included in there because
Yeah.
we got behind to score him. We should have been scoring earlier in the season.
When you think about it, Tony, though, 19 goals from set pieces, 12 of them we scored from corners. That's close to one third of the total goals that we scored all season, and that's not even.
And that's happened over the course of the last 8 weeks. Mostly the last 6 weeks.
I mean, the majority. We've had some goals, but now it's become a worthwhile stat to track because we are really efficient at it.
Can
we used to play football.
Imagine if we had Oliver Giroud, how many goals we would have?
When you used to play football and you go on the field and you look at the opponent, you look at the other team, like, blimey, they're all big fuckers. You know what I mean? I think teams must look at Arsenal and say we have a lot of physically tall and dominant players in our team as well.
It's weird because just a year or two ago, it's all short, not set the center backs. They're all scrawny fellas.
There's a managerial go round that's going to start happening. Barcelona, Liverpool, and Bayern Munich are 3 clubs that will be without managers in the summer. So it's going to be very well orchestrated as to how it's going to go, where the individuals are going to go.
Instead of stepping down at the end of the season, so that Bayern Munich just hire somebody for now, whether it's an assistant or whatever. I
don't know.
I want to keep Tommy Tickle in there.
Yeah, but they're making a move, Tony. Like you said, Lawrence, at 2-0 down, I would have loved to have seen Arsenal go in with a 3-goal lead. Shortly after the second goal goes in, Schär places a ball, trying to play out, and he places it. Ødegaard cuts him out, and we almost have a third goal there. Saka has a shot saved by Karius, where he's weaving in and out of 3 or 4 players in the box. Saka gets a right foot shot away. But at 2-0 down, Newcastle go in with some hope. You know what I mean? If it would be 3-0, you'd think they'd be finished at 3-0. They would give up.
To be honest, it should have been like 4 or 5-0. I mean, as I said, the scoreline flattered them.
Yeah,
they got out of jail.
Yeah,
and as I said,
that game should have been like 9-0. And I was saying that early
Yeah,
part
we're
of the
starting to
season.
sound like privileged Arsenal fans, though. You know what I mean?
Early in the season, because we were missing all those clear cut chances, we weren't clinical at all, and we're getting like winning 2-1, 3-2. I mean,
So Tony, my notes are telling me that Erdegaard and Havertz they need to shoot more, so they weren't taking shots first time, and David Raya was playing a little bit of a sweeper keeper toward the end of the first half, a couple of long balls. Almiron got behind us a little bit, but would have been offside. But that would have went against majorly would against the.
Ray has almost given up 2 goals from running way up to almost the midway line to get a ball when it's kicked.
Will Wenger come back? Doubtful. Is Mourinho available? Mourinho is available. I don't. Maybe Mourinho would go to Bayern Munich. You just don't see him
I
going to Bayern Munich.
imagine he's done at this point.
Maybe. All right. Into the second half, we mentioned the Havertz miss on 46 minutes. You know, he's got to get a little bit. He's scoring goals now, right? But he's got to be a little bit sharper in front of goal.
Yeah, I don't think he ever will be, but
6 goals. He's sitting on 6 goals right now and 2 assists. For me, a good return from Havertz this season, and I said it earlier in the season, would be 10 goals in the league. So if he's able to get 4 more in about 12 games, that would represent a good season for me from Kai Havertz. Just on the bare numbers. Tony, what do you think?
I don't think we'll see him up in the attacking part of a pitch since Jesus will come back and Trossard and
So you don't think he'll
Kai.
have enough opportunities to get to 10 goals?
Nope.
Okay. But I think 10 would be a good benchmark for a player worth all that money.
Yeah, but with all those chances up there, right, it doesn't matter who you are as an attacker, you should get at least 10 goals. I mean, that's a requirement.
It's a minimum, right?
Yeah.
Lawrence, what do you think about Havertz? Obviously he missed that one in the first half, in the start of the second half.
I'll be amazed if he gets into double figures.
If he gets 10, you'll be amazed.
Yeah, I'll be amazed.
All right. And we got 12 more. He's on 6.
He's like a leaky. Yeah, he's like a leaky faucet. You know, he gets a couple and then it stops. You know.
Yeah.
So
I was a little bit disappointed with the first 15 minutes of the second half. We seemed to take our foot off the pedal a little bit.
Yeah.
We allowed Newcastle into it a bit more. Isak and Harvey Barnes had a couple of chances.
Yeah, it's just typical Arsenal, you know. We always let teams back in. We are not clinical. And I thought it was going to be another 2-1 affair like against Forest and Wolves.
Forest, right.
We looked so lethargic for the first 15 minutes. And I just couldn't see another goal being scored.
Yeah.
Michael said
Havertz has taken Eddie's place in the team. Eddie has not played as much now, but it does seem like Havertz has taken that spot in the squad.
Yeah.
So I just thought. Go ahead, Tony.
It's been a affliction all year that second half we really don't come out that first 15 minutes, but it's been even worse for the last 6 games since we actually started scoring. It's like the team's like, oh, it's already over. Don't try. Then they're like, oh, they're playing hard against us. We better do something.
And look, we've seen it just today in the cup final where Liverpool survive through normal time and come out in extra time, and it's a different dynamic. It's a different team. Somewhat happened to Arsenal last night. They go in 2-0 at halftime, come out with a different mindset, a more lethargic one where we were not finding the players, and we were playing I think Lawrence were playing very predictable patterns, and
Yeah,
things that Newcastle could read. Those triangles were too predictable.
yeah. As I said, like, I don't know what it is with us, right? We just cannot keep the the pressure on. You
Yeah,
know, we have these periods of the game where we take the foot off take our foot off the pedal and allow the other teams to get back in the game.
yeah,
I
and
mean, there are so many times. Yeah, there've been
it,
so many.
go ahead.
No, I was just saying, there've been so many times this season where we've been in complete control, and it looked like we were going to, play the other team off the park, and then we sit back. They hit us on the break. They get a goal back, and then it's emergency stations.
Yeah,
It's like red alert. We start pricking it.
yeah. Michael said he thinks there's a lack of coaches out there. There are some inexperienced coaches out there, but the likes of Bayern Munich, Liverpool, and Barcelona will want to make the right choices for them. It's particularly Bayern Munich and Liverpool, who have been had relative success over the last few years, and they don't want to be in the wilderness a little bit. So it's going to be tricky for Liverpool in terms of what they do in summer. It's not going to be easy to follow somebody like Jurgen Klopp and still have success. So it'll be interesting to see what things look like this time next year in terms of the league and where Liverpool are. There was talk of Van Dijk actually moving on as well. With when Klopp is leaving, the Van Dijk would be leaving as well.
About half the fucking clubs have been talking about leaving. Right?
Wayne Rooney's available, Tony. So look,
Right. What are you gonna do in July when they come have the game? Are you gonna have a half and half start?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Are you gonna have like a half and half jersey? What are you
no,
doing?
I'm not doing anything half and half. Only half and half
yeah,
coffee. That's all I do is half and half.
yeah. They're coming out here to Los Angeles as well, playing
Yeah,
Man United at SoFi Stadium.
yeah. It'll be interesting times, but hopefully we're going there on the back of winning something this season.
Have you been inside there yet?
Hmm?
I was asking him if he's been inside the SoFi Stadium yet.
You've
Yeah,
been there?
I've been there. I went there for the Barcelona game last summer.
It's an impressive stadium by all accounts.
Yeah, I mean, I hate Stan Kroenke with a passion for what he's done to us, right?
Yeah,
But I've got to admit that stadium is out of this world.
right. It's an
I mean,
impressive
it looks like a shopping mall. When you go inside, it looks like a shopping mall. That's the best description I can say.
Okay.
It's a combination of a shopping mall and a football stadium.
Yeah, because they like have the NFL films headquarters and stuff in there.
They actually have stores there around the what do you call it? Around the avenues around the
Yeah,
within.
I mean, it's just a unique atmosphere. I had a fantastic view from the middle tier. There was nothing blocking my view, which is when you go to football stadiums in England or in Europe, you're always stuck behind a pillar or someone that's blocking your view. But as I said, it's just an amazing stadium. But as I said,
the old style English stadiums, you will have that possibility of being behind a pillar or in a bad position to see the game. Tony,
I know they have the heavy rains there, but how the fuck does a $2.2 billion projected cost turn into $6 billion?
I don't know, pandemic and supply chain and all that stuff, Tony. Probably,
because I'll tell you what, right? You may scoff at this, but I believe Kroenke is siphoning money out of Arsenal to pay for that stadium. Not the whole amount, but I could bet you your bottom dollar that Kroenke took money out of Arsenal to make
Or
part of the payment for that
at the
stadium.
at the very least,
He took out 2 loans, and I'm not
yeah,
sure what he
at the
took it
very
out
least,
against.
at the very least, you would leverage your assets
I
in
think he
order to
did at
take
least
out loans,
once.
right?
I think he did at least once for
Yeah.
Arsenal.
All right.
Because you had to come up with the extra $4 billion. I mean,
Yeah. He's not without some money. You know, he could go to Mrs. Walmart and ask for money as well, Tony. But
Yeah, I mean he never spends. He never spends any money. None of these stadiums or teams he owns, he hasn't put one dime of his own money into any of them, including Arsenal. It's all loans.
yeah, because
All right.
it gets me, Ray. If you add up her wealth and his wealth, then you have City, then you have Newcastle that has 20 times what Arsenal and City have. 80% of the
combined.
league wealth is in their ownership.
Yeah. So Tony, definitely we have
It's
that.
pretty damning of that just shouldn't have ever been allowed to happen.
No. They opened, as Gary would say, they opened the gate and they let it happen. And now they need to control what's happening, you know.
But then they started trying to have like that. What was it, Ray? They like were to look into the owners and like see what they're involved in with stuff.
I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle would start to generate income that's outside of their means and start hiding it.
But
Like
are you to see that many foreign fans that are buying Newcastle merchandise?
No,
Like,
not yet. Not yet. It's going to be difficult for them to probably something they never considered, Lawrence, that, the branding and the marketing of Newcastle United outside of England would be difficult,
Because you got the Asian fans from Arsenal largely due to Wenger coaching in Japan, then all the tours would go over there. Then you have the African fans that we've just had for a pretty long time.
So,
yeah, but now all the Premier League teams see America as the number one marketing target. They're all coming out here. They even admit it. Arsenal even admitted it. They said America is the number one place to be to market the brand.
Yeah.
I just wonder how much money they make. I know they have to pay the stadiums money, but I imagine they're making pretty good money from the gates. And like Orange said, from the t-shirt sales and stuff, because they set up the shops there, the teams do. So
yeah. All right, getting back to this game, Tony. After 63 minutes, Mikel Arteta has seen enough. Newcastle are starting to push. Isak just had a shot over the bar, and warning, a shot across the bows, and Trossard comes on for Martinelli, who comes off after 63 minutes. So you get an early substitution there, Tony.
For once.
For once, yeah. And it comes with an immediate effect. We get the Bukayo Saka goal.
Can we stop on that for a minute, Ray? How does he not get criticized midweek for making one substitution?
I believe there was some criticism, but when you're winning games, albeit you lose 1-0 to unfortunate circumstances in Porto, you're not going to get challenged unless you're making continual mistakes.
Yeah, but when you're struggling 0-0, you make a move to go in there and get some goals, and they didn't at all.
I think all of us would have said, if I was watching that game and not happy with the way it was going, I would have said, let's make a change here. Let's do something. Unai Emery said famously he would make changes to to have an impact the game.
Yeah, but let's look at who we had on that subs bench. We had two goalkeepers. Okay, we had three kids. We had Smith Rowe, Jorginho, Nketiah, El Nedi, and Cedric.
Mm-hmm.
That's who we had on that bench. And there's somebody, I think it was Stan, who said it on the last podcast. He probably took a look at that bench and thought he didn't trust any of them.
Yeah. And I think, as Michael said, naming all of the players that we're getting back from injury, there's like at least 4 or 5 quality first team players that would come into the team and play.
Two of them that I don't want to come back in. But.
Yeah, but that's the reason why, Tony, we would have wanted more, but Mikel Arteta's looking at things, and the buck is going to stop with him.
Do you realistically agree with me on last season we would have won if Jesus never came back?
Trossard was in a rich vein of assisting.
Just say yes or no, Ray. Go on.
I agree with you. Yes. Lawrence, the temptation to bring Gabriel Jesus is always there for Mikel Arteta, to bring him back in front of Havertz, in front of Trossard. And I think Havertz and Trossard have proven this season especially that they are playing at a higher level than Gabriel Jesus.
And I think you could have did the same thing with Kivior if you put him in. I think that gives you extra points to win the league.
Yeah.
Instead of
Kivior and Zinchenko. Tony, I'm willing to give up on the progressive part of Kivior, of Zinchenko. Let's be pragmatic at left back.
But isn't it be crazy that unless when
There's a great comment here. Tom said the irony of Tony demanding a yes or no answer when he gets cryptic as FUCK about anything. It's hard sometimes to get you to a yes or no answer, Tony, but you're demanding yes or no from me. Anyway, moving on. So Tony.
That's payback from Selhurst Park, right?
Yeah, payback from Selhurst Park. Could Kieran Tierney possibly return? It's looking unlikely that Kieran Tierney could return. So Lawrence, Gabriel Jesus, and Trossard and Havertz. What are we getting? What do we get? Who are we getting? Who's the best fit in number 9 right now?
I would say, if you were to twist my arm, I would say right now on form, Trossard.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Jesus, but he's another injury-prone player. We see him for 2 or 3 games, and then he's out for a month with another knock.
Does he give us enough? Will he give us enough in these final 12 games, Lawrence?
I'd like to think so. But even he himself says he's not an out-and-out striker. And Arteta's playing him out on the wing when he does play.
Yeah. The key to this season and the key to that number 9 position has been, Tony, the difference between last season and this season with Trossard is, instead of sticking him out on the left where Martinelli was, we're playing Trossard centrally in that number 9 position. And now, if you look at his goals versus assists from last season and this, it's a mirror image. Last season was more assists than goals, and this season is more goals than assists.
Yeah, because he's actually getting a chance in there more in the middle than he was last year. Because last year he was just on the wing. So.
Yep. So for me, the key to this final 12 games, Lawrence, could be Leandro Trossard and giving him the minutes he needs at number 9.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he bombs down the wing, as well as down the middle, I think he's the best option we've got right now.
Yeah.
And you always see him back on defense. I mean, he gets back there pretty quick. He's covering a lot of ground in the game.
Yeah. There's even a piece of play right at the end of the Nottingham Forest game where we're under a little bit of pressure. We've just conceded that goal to them. We're trying to see out the game at 2-1, and Trossard is able to hold on to the ball for a few minutes. That type of stuff does not go unnoticed by the manager as well. When you have the ability to hold on to the ball and take a sting out of the game for the last few minutes, like one that springs back to mind of me is Everton. When we lost up there at Everton, we couldn't hold on to the ball a few seasons ago, and Damari Gray scored that winner against us. So that's the difference between winning at Nottingham Forest and losing at Everton. Holding on to the ball.
It's crazy, and like in Arteta's first, I think it is just his first 2 years that we had lost more to Newcastle than the entire 6 years he spent there as a player.
Yeah,
and that the team as a whole haven't lost to him either. The team we easily beat.
That's what Jesus is good at, I think, holding on to the ball. Who will leave in the summer? So let's park that one for a second. We'll talk about that a little bit later, okay? Who will leave in the summer? Have a little think about that, guys. That Saka goal seems so simple, Lawrence, but
yeah,
maybe it's his skill that makes it look simple, right?
Yeah, I thought he was crossing it over to someone. I didn't even realize it had gone in because it was more like a pass than a shot.
Yeah, it was almost like he passed it into the corner of the net through a few legs. The goalkeeper on-sighted, but Livramento had done a decent job up against Saka for most of the game, but Saka would have that opportunity, Tony, and he'd score.
Yeah, he's good from that position. I think he was due for another goal.
Yeah. Now, that's Bukayo Saka. The commentators mentioned that's 5 games in a row now that he scored, and that is somewhat of a record. I thought it was a 9-year-old Olivier Giroud record, but somebody might have said Ian Wright. It was an Ian Wright record from way back.
No, TV said he died. A guy I mentioned earlier in the show. And all his headers. 20 headers for us. Oliver Giroud did.
Olivier Giroud.
That's a lot of fucking headers from a striker.
It is.
And can you imagine, even like as a substitute in the last 2-3 years, he would have got another dozen goals to go up to 40 headers. Because that's all we were doing for like 2-3 years was crossing the ball in there, and he didn't have the target man to.
Yeah, we were doing that in the first 2 years of Mikel Arteta's reign as well, when we had Aubameyang in there. I remember one game against Tottenham, we lost 2-0, and we had something like 80 or 90 crosses into the box.
What's funny, I think he only scored 2 for us. Then he goes to Barcelona. Then he scored 4 goals. I think he had 2 or 3.
Yeah, purple patch. Yeah,
2 or
they
3
do say crossing the ball is a lower percentage opportunity. Heading the ball is a lower percentage goal. So that's why teams tend to get it down on the ground more often and play.
Yeah, but with all the corners we've been having, we've generally been around with.
Well, I always remember
the 8 to 12 mark.
Yeah,
used to be getting more from that.
Lawrence will remember what Brian Clough used to say about playing football on the ground. If God had intended us to play football up in the air, we'd be playing. The football pitches would be up in the sky, up in the clouds. I think he said something like that. Brian Clough did. He was a character.
Do you remember his other famous saying?
It was something like, if he had a disagreement with a player, Okay, he'd listen to them. We'd have a chat, and then we'd agree that I was
No,
right.
yeah, no. There was one. He was being interviewed about football hooliganism, and he says, "Yeah, he knows there's 92 chairmen."
Yeah, he was a character, a little bit like Tony is right now. You know what I mean?
They have been a character for 44 years.
You would have liked Brian Clough, Tony. You would have liked Brian Clough.
Yeah.
Brian Clough said he
Well,
was in the top one of all managers. You
I
know?
remember hearing his name, but that's kind of wasn't watching then.
So I'm going to give you some homework to watch some interviews of Brian Clough, and you could even watch the Damned United if you wanted to watch the Damned United, because Tom would tell you all about that as well. You know,
yeah.
I think
Brian Clough,
he was Leeds manager for 41 days, something like that.
44 days. Brian Clough, for people who don't know, was the original Jose Mourinho.
Tony would like him. Tom said Damned United is terrible. Yeah, because it probably doesn't reflect very well on Leeds. I don't know why he thinks it's terrible. I thought it was an entertaining movie, but you know,
Yeah.
check it out, Tony. That's your homework. I want you to tell me something about Brian. When we come back on Thursday, Tony, tell me something about Brian Clough I did not know. Okay?
Yep.
All right, Tony. 3-0. Bukayo Saka scores. It's his 5th game in a row that he scored. I think he scored 7 goals now in these 7 games, in these 5 games, boosting his stats. And Bukayo Saka last season had 14 goals and 11 assists in 38 games, Tony. So he had 25 goal involvements in 38 games. He's already got 20 goal involvements now in 25 games. He's already got 20. He's got 13 goals and 7 assists already.
Of all the positions we've seen in him, I remember saying this 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago. It's like, where does he actually end up? Is he going to stay on the wing, or one day try to put him in there as striker?
Well, that's like saying, what would you do? Why would you not do that with Mohamed Salah? But Mohamed Salah is scoring all those goals on the right wing. So if it ain't broke, Tony.
Yeah, but you can tinker, since that middle part of a pitch were awful. That's why they were Porto congested the middle on Wednesday.
And that's one thing I wanted to mention as well. The middle part of the pitch were terrible, and so Tony, against Liverpool, we played a box formation against Liverpool. We beat them 3-1. We played Jorginho and Rice at the bottom part of the box, and Ødegaard and Havertz at the top part of the box. Yesterday we played more of a diamond shape. Yesterday.
Which game was the one that you thought was a 4-2-2?
The Liverpool game, 4-2-2-2. So it was a box formation with Jorginho and Rice at the base of the midfield. Our 2 number 8s at the top of that box, and then our wingers high and wide against Liverpool. So Tom said Brian Clough and Don Revie interview on ITV. The equivalent would be if Fergie and Arsene were interviewed together in 2004. Yeah, it was a little bit fiery, wasn't it, Lawrence? Brian,
yeah.
Brian Clough and Don
Yeah,
Revie.
but apparently Brian Clough looked up to Don Revie as his mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was
it around the England job?
I think so. But I think it also had something to do with him when he took over from Revie at Leeds United, because in the interview he said he wanted to make Leeds a better outfit than they were under Don Revie.
Yeah. The players did not take to Brian Clough. The
No,
players
they threw him under the bus. They threw him under the bus because apparently he did say to them, "You can throw all your trophies
out the
and
window.
medals in the dustbin because
Yeah.
you cheated." And you're telling the likes of Billy Bremner, Jack Charles,
John Giles,
Johnny Giles, Jackie Charlton,
good
and
old
Peter
Irish.
Lorimer that you
Yeah.
that you're cheating bastards, right? You're not gonna.
Yeah. Good old John Giles, the Irish international. Don Ravi
Yeah.
didn't like what Clough did in the 44 days. So yeah, it was a little bristly. And interestingly, Brian Clough was never really considered for the England job as well because he was too
The biggest
controversial.
crime, the biggest crime in football that he never got the England job. Because
Yeah.
I'm telling you this: if Brian Clough had been England manager, England would have won another 2 World Cups.
Wow.
England would have been up there with the likes of Brazil and Germany.
Yeah. He was just too controversial though, Lawrence, wasn't he?
Yeah, the FA just didn't like him.
Yeah. He wasn't their cup of tea.
He wasn't. Yeah.
He was not their cup of tea. So yeah, look, getting back to Bukayo Saka though, the numbers he's putting up now, it might have been masked by our set pieces, our deliveries. He was picking up set piece assists earlier in the season, Lawrence, but now 13 goals and 7 assists. He's starting to pick up pace this season in just 25 games this season. He's got 20
Uh-huh.
goals and assists Bukayo Saka. And he's somewhat helping Martinelli on the other side, who's having not as big a season as he had last season, you know?
Yeah.
So both of them together are propping up our winger department. You know what I mean?
But
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of that's because you had Zaka so far forward that whole
Yep.
left side was congested, so it was a lot easier for Martinelli.
Did Granit Xhaka help Martinelli last season, Tony?
His positioning did.
Yeah. And I think Martinelli might be suffering this season because of having to adapt Havertz and Rice into the team. Might have
You see the
Martinelli.
difference. You've seen the difference with Jorginho in there, and you've seen the difference with Smith Rowe.
Yeah,
he looked a lot better, especially that Smith Rowe game was probably one of Martinelli's best games of the year.
I want to save some time to talk about Smith Rowe toward the end as well.
Did you know, Ray, that Xhaka scored for by Leverkusen at the weekend?
Yes, yeah, I saw that on Friday night.
His normal 1 goal out of the season.
Yeah,
yeah.
Even we'll erase the little blip that was last season.
He's on course. They're 8 points clear. They're on course now for the title. If they just keep their nerve and don't let it. Sometimes I think Lee Dixon has said, you get a lead, such as we had in 1989. You get a lead on a team, you start to switch off a little bit, and that's what happened to Lee Dixon. A young team, Arsenal were. We just held on at the end of 1989 at Anfield.
I've seen like articles about the decline of Bayern Munich, but I haven't read one of them. It's kind of interesting how they've just fallen the last 4 or 5 years. Really, they just
wasn't it.
It used to just be so much of a 1-horse race, then it was a 2-year. With
they've won it 11 years in a row now, and so that paradigm that's going to shift. That narrative is going to change with Bayer Leverkusen, and Alonso has done a good job. Xavi Alonso has done a good job. I don't know if he's going to end up at Liverpool or Bayern, but if he had an affinity for Liverpool and he has an opportunity to go to Liverpool, he probably will end up there. Do you turn down Bayern Munich for Liverpool? That's the question.
Well, I heard him saying, Ray, that he wasn't coaching anywhere next year. That he needed a rest. So
Xavi Alonso said that, and he's just started out in the last couple of seasons. Are you talking about top?
No, but imagine that, Ray. you're sitting there, you're having to sell half your TV rights, a quarter of your merchandise rights, and every other thing they've tried to produce money so they could sign players.
Yeah.
And how the fuck aren't they under the financial fair play? I mean, they should be relegated.
Bayern Munich.
No, Barcelona.
Barcelona. Yeah, I don't know. They
Let's
make
talk about
up
Barcelona
their own,
there.
they make things up over there in Spain all by themselves.
But that's what I'm saying. Wouldn't all that stuff be really stressful if you're a manager? You're like, am I to have the money? Because they have 3 players. They had fucking Ralphinho that they couldn't put on their books yet
Well,
because
look, Tony, I think sometimes it's good to be a manager. I think it's sometimes good to be told you have the squad now and you have to deal with it. You have to use the players within your squad.
but there was a point that 3 of their signings weren't going to be allowed in, and Rafinha was one of them. I mean, that would be stressful as a manager, not
Mike,
knowing what you had, what
sure.
you're going to get.
Yeah, but at some point you find out who you have, and Mikel Arteta has said, "I have Kivior, and now I'm playing Kivior in the team." And
he should have fucking played him last year, but that's a different story.
Michael said they're still trying for Super League. Yeah, it's just, I mean, of course, the evidence is there right now. Kivior is playing well now, Tony. It's a little bit unfortunate, I think. Is that another OG, or did they give the goal to Kivior? The fourth.
No, they gave it to Kivior.
They gave it to him.
Did they switch? They switched it back, didn't they? Didn't they originally take it
I
away
think they
from him?
switched it back. They were going to give it against Miley, the young kid from
It's
Newcastle.
weird how they'll do that sometimes, like 20 minutes after a goal. They're like, oh.
69 minutes in, Tony. We're 4-0 up. Kivior flicking on from a right side.
I don't care if they're a fucking deflection or not. I think it should be whoever shoots it that goes into the back of the net, it's their goal.
Yeah. I mean, if it's on target, right?
Yeah. Yeah, not the ones that you hit it off the winger or the fullback and it bounces back in there. But
yeah,
anything in that box.
You know what statistic bothers me, Ray? When
fantasy football,
a team, when a team has a shot that hits the woodwork, but it's not considered a shot on target.
On target, yeah.
I mean, you're hitting a fucking target, so
you hit it on target. That should be considered a shot on target. You know what I mean?
That's the frame of a target. So
exactly. Barcelona, a kid that eat all their sweets in the last 5 minutes of the day and then expect to mooch off everyone else. Exactly.
Because Ray, the ones that will bounce off of it, and there'll be like a defender or something there that knocks the ball back. If it's against the pole and across the line, it's a goal. So shouldn't that makes it a shot on goal?
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100. Definitely, Tony. Tom said the target is the back of the net. You just get it on frame. Lawrence, how good has Kivior been coming in? And he's added, as Tony said, he's added that stability, taking away uncertainty at the back that Zinchenko brought to the team.
Yeah. Well, considering his preferred position is a central defender, I think he's done well.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I read this somewhere that he's the fastest player at the club, over 10 yards.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, yeah, I'll be quite impressed with him. I know he's got his critics, but I think he's, considering we haven't got an out left back at the club right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's on the shopping list come the summer.
I think
he's done well.
I think it's going to come, Tony. I think it's going to come down to a Timber, Tomiyasu, or Kivior by committee.
That's what I asked. If you have Kivior, He's doing good. If I think the player's on a good run of form, I don't think they should be kicked out. It would be him majorly making a mistake in a game. Then you go with Timber if he's fit.
Run
But
the way you have. Yeah.
I mean, Timbers will be struggling to be fit the rest of the season, fully match fit. He might be fit enough to go out there, but do what he needs to over 90 minutes.
And Michael,
So you might be in a situation where we were last year, where we had fucking Rob Holding coming out during the last 20 minutes to set up shop. That makes no fucking sense, but
I think Rob Holding's moved on, right?
Yeah, Rob Holding's at Crystal Palace now.
But he must be injured, right? I haven't heard much about him.
Must be injured. He just not showing up.
Selhurst Park swallowed him up, Tony. These things happen in Selhurst Park, you know?
Yeah.
Michael said Timber will probably play there at left back.
But do you think that's what I would do with him? I'd just bring him on with like 20 minutes left, and I want to put him back in the position. I want to do that.
Michael said, I think Ben White won't get dropped, so there you go. If we go past Porto, we're going to play one of the big boys probably in the quarterfinal, and it'll be interesting. In the bigger games, the left back that you want the most will be in the team. You know, let me just put it that way. Whether it's Tomiyasu or Kivior at this point in time, you know, but great to see him score that goal.
To me, right, from watching the game Wednesday, you seen they were prolific on the counter. The 5 or 6 chances they had on it, they looked great. That one hit with woodwork and came back to him so fast he didn't really have time to hit it in the right direction. But Arsenal has to score 2 goals, so they're going to be pressing a lot. So they're going to have plenty of opportunity to do a counter. Yeah. And there's a chance within the first 15 minutes of a game that they score and we're down 2-9 or 2-0 in it. So
it's a discussion for a future podcast in the next couple of weeks, Tony. But you're right. Arsenal need to be very careful with a goal deficit going into the second leg that you cannot concede the first goal. And that would give you a huge amount of energy you would have to get through just to overhaul that. You know, we could probably score 3 goals, but you want to score 3 goals without them scoring at all.
Yeah, that's almost a game you want to go. You might want to go 3 at the back. I know you have Rice dropping back, but you still probably need the extra defender there.
Yeah. So, Tony, that's a discussion coming up in a couple of weeks. We have to take care of Sheffield United and Brentford before we even play Porto. How good was it then for 3 substitutions to come in there, Lawrence? Emile Smith-Rowe coming on, Nelson, and Nketiah. But the big one for me is Emile Smith-Rowe coming on for Odegaard, Saka, and Havertz.
I really like Smith Rowe. I really don't want him to leave.
Correct.
So he needs as much game time as possible to get him up to speed. And as I said, he should have put that chance away near the end.
Yeah.
You know, the one that Dan Burn cleared off the line.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't Dan Burn understand, you know, that we want...
Yeah, exactly.
Or what the hell is he doing?
Yeah, he shouldn't be there.
He should be doing that dance in the dressing room that he's so good for.
Yeah, exactly.
But Emile Smith-Rowe looked bright when he came on. Smith-Rowe combined really well when he came on, Lawrence, for the 15, 20 minutes of the game at the end.
Yeah, as I said, he needs game time to get him up to speed with everyone else.
I thought he looked bright.
Yeah, again, Nketiah provided absolutely nothing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I swear that if we were 9-0 up against someone and Arteta brought him on with maybe half an hour left of a game just so he could get a goal to get his confidence back, he wouldn't score. He can't hit a barn door.
Gary let himself in as well.
Gary, it is the time
I
for
was
a
looking
trip
for the
yet.
link. You didn't send me the link, so I had to just bust the door down.
Hey, you said you wouldn't be able to make it, so I'm not gonna be pushy. But yeah, you got the pass, you got the backstage pass. Anyway, so
Gary's literally on the trip.
I am definitely on. I just finished the trip, so
all right.
just sitting in the driveway. We were about to run out of gas, so I was like, you know what? I'll do the show. I'll go get some gas, and then sounds like I have to go get groceries now too. So
You better hurry up before anything else gets added to the list by the
that's
boss.
true. That is
Yeah.
true.
Well, there might be the first part of the list, and then there's always a few extra items. Oh, and we need this. Oh, and we need this as well. And since
True.
you're there, get me some chips as well. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Gary, can you get me a Subway sandwich while you're out?
yeah. Whatever you want. Whatever you want.
Well, we know what Ray wants. He wants
Yes.
cheddar jalapeno Cheetos.
All right, so put in the chat box whatever you want Gary to get you at the store. Just for shits and giggles. Gary,
That should also be part of your homework, Ray, is to get you the popcorn version of the cheddar jalapeno.
I tried to put that on the list yesterday, Tony, but I got lost in translation. Gary, what were your thoughts on the win last night and the events of today with Liverpool, Chelsea as well?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, you know what? Started a little too slow for me, but you know what? When the score line is 4-1, you'll take it, right? So there's we still got things we can work on. I heard Lawrence talking about being clinical. So, when you score 4 goals and you still are not clinical, guess what? You got a lot of, you've got this is what we want, right? We want to be able to score 4 goals and say, guess what? There are another 4 goals in there for us. Because I think the problem in the past was we were getting no goals and we were getting no opportunities. So, so now we're doing better.
All right. Couple of requests, Gary.
What percentage would you want us to be clinical at? Because yesterday we had 18 opportunities and 8 were on target. So do you want half of them to be on target? 60%?
Well, we scored 4 goals. What more do you want?
No, I'm saying on the clinical
That's a
part
perfect. We get 40 to 50% on target is what you want, right? Because 40 to 50 means those are good chances, right?
Yeah, but there's still periods of a game that look like we needed the extra goal.
The stats are perfect. We want to be in a point where we're like, that could have been 6, right?
Sure, we'd like 5 or 6. We'd like 5 or 6. You'd like Havertz to score that opportunity at the start of the second half when he's clean through, but he drags it wide. You'd like Havertz to score that. You'd like Emile Smith-Rowe to get a goal right at the end. How bad did you want Emile Smith-Rowe to score at the end, Gary?
Well, I wanted to see him on the pitch. I'm glad that we got a lot of the players on and we took off a lot of the starters. I mean, that needs to happen.
They need to get rid of him
a lot sooner, right? I've been talking about rotation for years. We need to be at a point where, like in Porto, we needed to do substitutions. It wasn't working. Everybody's like, "Well, look at the bench," but
that's ridiculous.
But you got to change it up, right?
Yeah.
It can't be we're just going to go with these same plays for 90 minutes. It's not working. Makes no sense.
Yeah.
All the players that he put on in this game should have been put on in Porto if nothing was working.
Tony.
Yeah, I thought watching the game, seeing Noah Nelson has the speed, and plus he's good at going across the entire box, or actually the entire field up there. He's good at doing that. I thought the game was calm for him. He would have been my first substitute. Would have pulled off Martinelli, probably.
All right, Gary, a couple of requests for the store. Brownie's looking for a Russian woman who doesn't talk back.
Not sure. I don't think that thing exists. I don't think there's such a thing as a woman who doesn't talk back. What?
Check
What?
the inflatable section.
That
Right.
yeah, maybe. I don't usually shop in that section, so Brownie, you're gonna have to do that yourself, man.
I think them doing that's part of Iron Curtain. You have to accept it when you get over
The summer section, it might not be there yet, but there might be. I've got Lawrence. It depends.
Oh my God!
Depends what store you're going to, Gary. But you might be able to pick up a striker.
No, I don't shop at those places. I'm sorry. No, not gonna happen.
I'm sure he can go to the. I know what he can do. He can go to the real store, and I'm sure they can make him a Russian looking.
All right, yes, Brownie.
Whatever you want to call it.
Take Tony's advice, Brownie. Yes.
There you go. Yeah, Tony knows where to get those things.
Do what Tony says.
Hey, you know what? I saw Michael's comment. I need a new striker.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys. I don't think we're gonna get that kind of a striker. I think we're gonna be a team that's gonna have wings and strikers that are all getting around that 15 to 25 goal contributions a season.
Yeah.
I know what I would do. You could have used a lot of Akai money on it. You go to Italy and you buy the Argentine striker. He's playing.
We're not gonna go get a striker. I mean, I saw somebody looked at the stats and they said, look, they brought in all these players. They brought in who is it, Ronaldo to Juventus. Think about it, you bring in Ronaldo to Juventus, right? You expect to score more goals. He scored the goals, but they dropped 10 to 12 goals per season with him there.
Yeah,
we're not
gonna. I don't think last season
we're scoring enough goals. We just need to have a better squad.
Yeah, 10 to 15.
Like Trossard should have more minutes than Nketiah, right? That's not happening. So for me, that's a problem. We need somebody more reliable than Emil Sofro.
Yeah, we're trending in the right directions, Gary. And I've been saying that last season. Get us 4, 5, 6 players who can get you 10 to 15 goals in the Premier League every season. And these are players you can switch in and switch out. Bukayo Saka, he's coming strong now, but he does not have to be that player who has to do it every season for you.
I haven't seen what he did this weekend, but he was my favorite little Argentine that's stuck over there in Italy, Lautaro.
You same old names with you, Lautaro.
He had 20 goals in 22 games that he started because he's been injured.
Gary might drop in again. We don't know. Maybe the missus really needs him to go to the store.
Go to the store. Get gas. Hurry up.
Get gas. Go to the store. And any other items that you get texted while you're check your phone while you're shopping before you go to checkout. Check your phone because you might have more items on the list, Gary.
But before you leave, go check on Gator. Go make sure he's got food and water, and if he needs to let him out.
Here he comes.
Here he comes. Now Gary's gonna be grumpy.
Yeah, because you're doing it to him. You're making him grumpy, Tony.
Doing it to him? That doesn't sound right,
It does not sound right.
Come on, man. You missed me on Sundays.
Come on, Gary. Where are you? All right, Tony. Let's get into the man of the match, Tony. What's your nomination?
I really don't know. Probably Saga was in the end.
Bukayo Saka. I got
Yeah.
it. Havertz had. Are you done talking? Because you'll get annoyed if I move on. But you
Yeah.
being done talking.
No, I think I don't choose Saka a lot. I think he kind of deserves it.
Okay. Kai Havertz had a goal and an assist. Could have done better, but I thought Jorginho. Saka had a good game, but I thought Jorginho ran that midfield again and got the right kind of revenge on Bruno Guimaraes rather than elbowing him back or taking him out. I thought Erdegaard had a little bit of a tackle on Bruno. Was that Bruno? Maybe it was someone else, but Erdegaard was right there. So
I'm sure
Gary
it probably
said
was as
the
far back
Wi-Fi
as
from the
you.
car stopped. Okay, Gary, thanks for dropping in. Do appreciate it though. And go get those items, especially a new striker. Don't worry about if you don't have enough money. Don't get Brownie's request. Okay, just get the striker. Tony,
I was just thinking, can you get while you're in the UK? Can you get mail order brides or yes or no?
I don't know. Ask Brownie. Ask
Brownie,
Brownie.
look into
it. Lawrence,
Brownie starts a GoFundMe for a non-sassy Russian.
Tony is gone for Bukayo Saka. I've gone for Jorginho. What have you got for your man in the match, Lawrence?
I would have to say, Saka.
Bukayo Saka is the man in the match. Tony, 2-1.
Yep. Well,
Happy with
the last time Jorginho and Smith Rowe, I chose them because they changed the game so much. But I mean, they should be used there. Kai doesn't work as the left eight. You got to change it up.
Right.
And we had that problem last year. I think we could have got a lot more goals and won a lot more games if it wasn't good old Zaka being the attacking midfielder.
Looking through the stats of the what some of the players have done last season compared to this season, we know Martinelli is probably not going to achieve what he did last season. He's 12 goals and assists behind with 12 games left. Bukayo Saka is covering for him on the right-hand side in terms of outperforming what he did last year. So take those two combined, and they could manageably get to the numbers they got last season combined. We're hoping Kai Havertz will cover what Granit Xhaka did last season as well. And we're getting some goals from the central defenders as well, Tony. Eddie Nketiah is going to give you what Eddie Nketiah gave you last season. Gabriel Jesus would probably do about the same as well. So the key to this, Tony, will be, for me, I think we've discovered, is Leandro Trossard, get him closer to goal, and he'll score more goals for us than last season. Don't play him on the wing, play him centrally.
Does Gabriel have more overall goals than Jesus?
Well, probably because Jesus only has 4 goals this season from 17 games, so probably. Michael said he heard a stat about clean sheets. I think we're 4 away from last season. That's probably very true. We were really good away from home at the beginning part of last season. And all we can hope for, Lawrence, is that this keeps trending forward. These last 6 games continue. We're going to have an issue where we hit the interlull. And so these remaining 3 games.
Fuck, another one?
Interlull is coming, Tony, before the City game.
Fucking
We're going to come back. We're going to come back from an interlull, and we'll have City to face up to, which is not the best preparation. I hope Mikel Arteta can get some sick notes out to some of the English players.
I really don't get it, Ray. You have the one in September, right after the season starts. It's usually 3 weeks into the season. Then you have October one. Then you had another one last year, and then it'll be 2 we've had this year. So 6 fucking international breaks.
Yep. Yeah. That's. I'm not trying to rally you up or anything. I'm just trying
No,
to
but
give out
I'm
that
just saying. I'm
information.
just saying that it's to be in the summer.
Mhm.
Because
So
what's the point? What's the point of picking these players that they're usually half injured, fighting injuries and stuff, or their form's good and they come back and they're not as good? What's the point of these guys meeting up for 6 days to play 2 games? I don't get it, Ray. Sorry.
Michael said we have Gabriel
Yeah.
Jesus. I think we need a Michael in the team to keep the Angels theme going. So there you go. We need to
Yeah.
target a
Well,
Michael, you know. Lawrence.
I remember the days when there were no international breaks. You would play on the Saturday, and then you would get called up by your country for the international the following midweek. And it was only one midweek game. There was not like two international games. It was just one.
Yeah, two together. So we have 3 games left before that interlull comes. 3 league games, and it'll be Sheffield United away from home, Brentford at home, and Chelsea at home. Chelsea will be a tricky one, and Porto will be between the Brentford and Chelsea games. So 3 league games and 1 Champions League game where we hopefully progress into a quarterfinal, and we have then won hopefully 9 games coming into that City game. And it won't be easy, especially Chelsea at home. That will probably be the most difficult of the 3. But we'll talk about Sheffield United on Thursday night. But 6 wins in a row, Tony. Last season we did 7. We're trying to make this thing 9 before we go to City.
Yeah, things have changed. Players have went out. Players have came in, and we look like we did last year when the same thing happened. So
when's the Champions League draw? Do you know when the next Champions League draw will be? It's usually on the Friday.
It's usually the Friday after
the games have finished. You know,
so it'd be about the 14th. 14th of March.
It's not like the FA that will do the games during the actual before all the games have finished.
And we have one starred. We have one starred comment, so we'll talk about that. Who will leave in the summer? Ramsdale, number 1, right?
Yeah,
Aaron Ramsdale will
for
leave.
sure.
Probably
Cedric, El Neni.
El Neni. Yep.
Tierney.
Okay, that's fair.
What was Jorginho's?
That's 4, Lawrence.
Yeah. We need. This is what I said last pre-season, last summer, that we needed to bring in 8 quality signings.
Yeah.
To sustain a title to sustain a challenge for the title.
Yeah.
And we never got brought in those 8 signings. We bought, I think it was 4, if you include Raya.
Yeah,
Just wait for I knew we need to bring.
Player, if we wanted to get a striker, we should have spent that money, divided with Kai's money, and get 2 £30 million players just to give us the depth and the quality.
We needed to bring in 2 strikers last summer, and Arteta never did that.
Right. So you were close, Lawrence. You said the 14th of March. It's going to be the 15th of March. The quarterfinals will be held, and I believe they're going to do the drawing for which you'll be in the top half or the bottom half of the tournament. Do you know what I mean?
They're going to do the draws for both the quarterfinals and semi-finals.
Yeah.
So you know who you. What the fuck was that?
Tony,
I
Tony,
can do
What Ray's having a
fireworks.
party?
Tony let his balloons go.
God, truth.
What are you celebrating, Tony?
I don't know. I'm trying to get this one to work. Do you not recognize that's my thumb?
Yeah. So listen,
Look, Rick.
who else could leave in the summer? We'd have to generate some cash from Ramsdale, maybe Kieran Tierney, free up some
There you go.
space on the wage bill, and go get a striker that we've been targeting. You know,
They've
Yeah.
turned that off
my babe-
now. The reactions. 'cause
well, as
people
Gary
are
said, it does not have to be. It does not have to be. It can't be a striker that you rely on for all of the goals because that messes with the dynamic of
Eddie.
the team, Lawrence. That messes with the
Yeah,
dynamic.
I know. Get rid of Nketiah. Just get rid of him because he
There you go.
provides nothing.
He's going to go to Crystal Palace, right? Over celebrating Tony.
I don't care who he goes to. He could go join a pub team for all I care. He couldn't even
Tony.
get into a pub.
I don't know which one does the balloons. I don't know.
Tony's over celebrating. Just get down the tunnel, Tony. Get down that tunnel. Do what Tony Carter.
Tony's celebrating Gary going to the store for him.
Do you think Gary set the alarm on his Peloton? At least
I don't
his
know.
Peloton.
All right. So Michael said, I think a striker with legs. I mean, a mobile striker. You know what I mean? One that can get around the field for sure.
I just think you need one that's clinical. That's why I still favor Latoro.
I know you've been talking about him for 2 seasons. Like I've been talking about Ivan Toney for 2 seasons.
But
see what happens.
he's 26 now. He'll be turning 27 later in the summer.
Right.
And that's
So-
pretty much that's when a striker hits his prime.
Yeah, you're right.
So you gotta get the best out of him for 3 to 4 years. Then they start tapering off in the early
Right.
30s. But
it was interesting. It was interesting as well that David Raya was starting to celebrate with the fans in the stadium as well. So I think he's feeling more comfortable with the situation. First, it was a Ramsdale. He was feeling that Ramsdale thing, and a lot of our fans like Ramsdale still. So it's difficult to see the difference between their play.
It's the difference between liking a guy, then looking at his stats and seeing that he's bottom of the league because that's where he was.
Who, Ramsdale or Raya?
Ramsdale.
Ramsdale. Okay.
Ramsdale has been treated like shit by Arteta.
If you win the title, Lawrence, if you win the title, does it matter? If we win the title, does it matter?
I just don't like the way the whole business with the goalkeepers has been done this season.
But if you win the title, if you win something because of that goalkeeper change, was it worth it? You know?
Did we really?
I see what you're getting at, Ray, but I just don't like the way it was done.
Okay, but would you care if we win the Premier League? Would you care? You know what I mean?
No, I suppose no. It wouldn't bother me, but personally, the way Arteta handled himself during this goalkeeping issue leaves a lot to be desired.
I know Gary's got a lot to say about that as well. We have to overcome City and Liverpool in order to win the title, but we're in with a shout right now. Gary?
Yeah, no, I mean, the goalkeeper change should have made an easy one, not a let's wait and see. Right? That's basically what it was. Let's wait and see if Rhea work pans out as opposed to you bring in a clear number one. Right? I mean, right now we need to be bringing in pretty much clear number ones at whatever positions we bring in to make it worth our time, right? I mean, for any positions, I mean, we wanted a clear number one coming in to at least go into the midfield with Xhaka leaving. A lot of people say that was Rice go into the midfield, not to replace Xhaka, but just to go into the midfield and then depend on Partey, which I think is no. You can't depend on Partey. If that's
We've all
if
come
that
to
was
that. Yeah.
if that was the plan, that was a really poor plan because Partey has let you down the first 3 seasons he's been here, and we're seeing it once again. So that was poor planning. We knew
Well,
Partey wasn't going to give us a full
well,
season.
we brought
Xhaka
in
was
2
gone, so we
midfielders,
needed
Gary.
two. We needed 2 midfielders that we could depend on.
Well,
We
we
only got
brought
one.
2 in. We brought 2 in.
No. Havertz is not a midfielder.
He's been played there.
No. Ray, step back. Havertz is not a midfielder.
Okay, I hear you.
Okay. Yeah.
Tony, jump
All right.
in.
Hey, Tony, show your fireworks to Gary.
Where's this?
Your balloon.
I don't know how to do the balloons one. I can give Gary a thumb up. I give Gary a thumbs up.
That's
There you go, Gary.
that is.
Michael said he thinks Rice is Partey's replacement, and we save money on wages when Partey leaves.
Right?
Rice is
Realistically,
not a 6 right now. I don't know. I think he's got to work into that position. Like Rice is not a Partey replacement right now because he on the half turn he'll never do it.
Gary, he's
I'll-
never going.
When
This
do
is
Never
the
going.
balloon somehow. I don't know how the fuck you do a balloon. Do you do a fist?
You know what, Tony? No, stop it. Stop.
I don't know. The balloons
End the
is
show.
accidental.
Cut it out.
I'm done the show.
The balloons
Not
is
that kind of
accidental.
show. Right.
I don't know how to do
Don't
the balloons.
Don't. Tony, it's okay. We don't need all that. Not that kind of show.
But
I have a question for Lawrence, and
What is it?
I'm gonna be very interested in your answer here. Have we really taken that much of a forward step in goalkeeper from Leno to Raya?
yes. From Ramsdale to Raya.
Sure. Ramsdale, yes. I wouldn't say Raya is a well. I take it back. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
In ball distribution, that's improved, but in stopping, that has decreased. So we needed to get better, I think, at both. All right, he needs to be able to make those stops once in a while, which he's not doing enough for me. Right, and we wanted better ball distribution coming out the back, which he's done that. I think he gets us moving faster, but then we have to.
I think
right now it's a catch-22.
I think one of the reasons is that Leno always punched the ball, and now you have Raya catching a lot of the balls. Because that seemed like the only thing he would do is just punch the ball out. Then,
Yeah, well,
then
you really comparing Leno.
because the ball's still in the box.
Raya is far superior to Leno.
I don't think so.
You think Bernd Leno is as good a goalkeeper as David Raya?
He's a better shot stopper.
But not a goalkeeper.
Every keeper's a good shot stopper.
Is Raya better than Ramsdale at shot stopping?
He's talking about Leno, Gary.
I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about. Why are we talking about Leno? He's not. What?
I know.
Because I don't think we've made.
Tony. Stay
We've
present.
made all these
Keep this
goalkeeper
guy on
changes.
task. What are you doing? Don't let him go off task.
We've made all
Why are
these
you talking about
goalkeeper
Leno? You might as well
changes,
just talk
and I
about
don't think
Emmy.
it's that
Emmy's the better stop shot. No, we're not going back in time. Let's
Gary,
go forward.
He's named all of the players from 3-4 years ago that he always talks about.
I know. That's why you guys have to kind of rail him in. Come on.
We got
Rail him in. Keep him on task. Let's talk about
Lautaro
players that we actually see on a
Martinez,
regular basis.
Rob Holding,
Rob Holding should have been gone 4 years ago, right?
All right, Tony. Give us your final thoughts, Tony. Let's get out of here and get Gary. Did you get all your groceries?
I was told I don't have to do it, so I'm off the hook.
Brownie's order was too complicated.
You know what? That one was mixed. As soon as Brownie opened his mouth and put in an order, it went straight to the bin.
Tony, take us out of here.
I got two different things. You got the team clicking like they were clicking last year. The same thing happened when Jesus went out. Just say no to Jesus. I don't want to see him come in after Easter, his great resurrection. Nope. Just keep away from Jesus. But
The old chestnuts. Okay.
What I was at mentioned Thursday is that was right at the 2-year anniversary of the war in Ukraine. People need to be getting on their governments to help out Ukraine before Russia fully takes it over. But you don't see everybody with little Ukraine flags on their Twitter handle and all that now. So
anymore.
People seem to forgetting about it and be okay with the 2-year wars that's going on.
All right. Now, 2 good points. Lawrence, what have you got?
Yeah, let's keep this run going.
That's all right.
You know, we've now got to bring this to Sheffield United on Monday, and I'll be very disappointed if we scrape a 1-goal or 2-goal victory. I'm expecting I'm not a ton of goals, but performances similar to West Ham and Burnley.
Yeah. We're in a rich vein of form right now, and 8 days off seems like a good thing to get healthy again, bring some players back. I just hope it doesn't upset our rhythm. And we keep going like this, winning games in convincing style. We have to get to the point where we face City, and Gary will know we have to win 3 more games to win 9, running up to City and put a decent team out against City after the interval.
I can't name one of the players that's out that I would bring straight back in.
You had your final say.
I know. I'm just having my final say.
Right. Tony has to have a final say after everyone else has had their final say.
He's like the CEO. He has to have the final word on everything, you know?
Yeah.
But Tony, hopefully we'll see you.
It used to always be me having the final word, right?
I know. I just gotta wait.
We're trying to do things better now, Tony.
It's called process improvement, Tony. You're a big part of it.
You give a good reaction from
you going first is part of the process improvement, you know. But hopefully, Tony, we'll see you Thursday night. Get some rest and come back with something good on Thursday night. Okay, Tony?
Yeah, I might be sporting my sunglasses, Ray, because no, that's next week. Sorry.
Okay.
More lasering to the right eye. Yeah.
Look, all we can do is keep going on what we're doing, Gary, right? Let's get this thing.
Yeah. I'd like to say first off, for those the comments of some of the the chat room, especially Brownie, are not those of the show. I don't know what he's talking about. If if anybody's watching this, I have nothing to do with whatever Brownie's talking about. I'm not contributing to any of the comments that he's brought in. No. So leave me out of it.
Yeah, Ray approves of Brownie. You weren't here, Gary, so you.
Yeah.
Gary, I'll press the button when you're ready, Gary.
Yeah, if Tony just quiets down, let him quiet down. We play on Monday. Is it? We have an extra day off.
We have a week now, Gary.
We play on what? We play Sunday?
Monday.
Yeah. So we have extra time off. So hopefully we get some of those players that were on the bench maybe at least ready to play. it'd be nice to see Middlesbrough get some more minutes. Trossard, I think Jorginho is good for us, but I don't want him starting too many games because I want him ready to go for the Emirates.
Yep.
So for that to happen, I don't want to put too many miles on his tires. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we have to find an answer when Jorginho doesn't play, and I don't know what that is unless it's Partey. I don't know what you guys know, but
It looked good with Smith Rowe was in
Maybe a
there.
Middlesbrough Rowe coming in. Yeah, but it's starting to.
but he's not ready to start right now. He's really getting 30 minutes of
Getting his
football.
feet under him. Yeah.
So he's still not there yet.
Do we know if Partey's going to be since he's been gone so long?
Yeah, we don't know that either. That's why I'm saying, like, Jorginho, we can't go to that well too often.
Yeah.
Because then, like, he needs to be like whatever the plan is. Make sure he's ready to go when we go to the Etihad, right? So that's my thoughts on that one. Yeah, we got another week to get another 3 points for the next one. Sheffield United. Hopefully, it should be an easier game for us. It shouldn't be like the Luton game that we played last time. So we should hopefully be able to manage that one and get out of there in terms of finish that game off early so we can pull some people at halftime and stuff like that.
Yeah. All right, Gary, thanks for joining us. I know you're busy today. Tony, thanks for being here and joining and having controversial comments once again and always diving into the recent past of Arsenal history. And we had a little bit of conversation with Lawrence about things a little bit further back in the past, but more relevant to the podcast. And Tony, well, there you go. That's what you get. That's what you get. Tony, we love you. Hopefully we'll see you on Thursday. Gary has a show tomorrow. Lawrence, hopefully we'll see you Thursday as well. Take care, all of you.
Yeah, take care.
Look, don't let Liverpool winning a trophy get in the way of the fact that we are 6 wins into this thing.
Yeah.
And we're putting
I didn't want
pressure.
Chelsea to win a trophy, so I'm okay with Chelsea not getting a trophy.
Right. All right, Gary. We'll see you Thursday, hopefully. Take care, everybody. We're out of here. Come on, you Gooners. Let's go for 7.
Will go off.
Let's go for 7 on Monday.